don't forget, you can hear the full-length, longer version wherever you get your podcasts. I don't want to show any nationalistic favoritism, but we've had a roll call of great Welsh people on here. Ruth Jones, Joe Page, we've had Matthew Rhys twice, Michael Sheen, loads. And today we add someone, I'm going to say, without wishing to insult the others, is more current, is more now, is more zeitgeist than all of them put together. And yes, I include you in that, Matthew Rhys, because I am sat here with Iwan Rheon.
Hello.
I got that right, didn't I?
You nailed it.
Well, like those American interviewers I've seen struggling with it.
Oh, you bless him.
I gotta say, I'm really nervous about pronouncing your name.
Yeah, what they do is they ask you your name and then you say it and they say, no, it's not. It's like, yeah, it is. Like, no, I was told it's Iwan. Like, well, I'm telling you it's Iwan, so can you just, yeah, I'm right, mate.
It's very odd that we've never met.
Yeah, it's strange.
Because while I think of you as being very young, you're not that young, are you?
No, sadly not, no.
You look young.
Oh, thank you.
No, you do.
Yeah, no, I'm pushing on 40 now.
Gee whiz.
Yeah, I'm kind of entering a different stage of my career where yeah.
Have you played anybody's dad yet?
Yeah.
Or you have you?
Yeah.
Can you remember the feeling when that first happened?
Yeah, I think it only recently on Man Up where I was a dad with these two kids. It's like,
a weird moment, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't think I'd even played anyone married at that point, I don't think. Well, yeah, I had, but it was a horrible marriage. But yeah, so it was kind of weird, yeah. I
think we all think of ourselves as a bit younger than we are. And I remember getting to play a dad in this film and going, well, some mistake, surely. Especially given that she was, like a girl in her late teens was my daughter.
Yeah, it's funny, recently I was reading for this project and there was two timelines and one was for a very young, that character, one was for, let's say, my age. And I thought, I don't know if I can play 15. So I naturally went for the young one. I called mate and he went, darling, I'm sorry, darling. I don't think you could quite pull that off. And I was like, yeah, oh gosh.
We're here today with you, and to talk specifically about this film where, I mean, the one Welsh person who's never come on here is the god of Wales, Anthony Hopkins, right? And you're in Those About to Die. Mm-hmm. With him. We want to talk about that, but there's so many other things. I want to find out how you got from Wales and starting out on Pobl y Cwm.
Yeah.
Everybody in Wales knows that. It's the Welsh soap opera, been running for years and years and years, to being on the biggest show in the world, Game of Thrones. How did it all begin?
I don't know. Well, I guess I was doing the National Eisteddfod.
For those who don't know, because it's very much a young global audience, what is the National Eisteddfod?
Well, it's essentially a competition. The Eirdd one specifically. Eirdd is an organisation for young people in Wales, and it's kind of like a competition, really, of singing and oratory,
of the arts.
The arts, yeah, very
performance,
much. Yeah, poetry and all that kind of thing.
It's a lovely thing.
Yeah.
I don't think when you're young in Wales, you sort of appreciate how special it is.
Yeah, definitely.
Because other places, as far as I'm aware, don't have it.
No, I think it's something quite unique to the Welsh language, and it's it was brilliant. So I was doing a competition, and then Bethan Jones was producing Pobl y Cwm at the time, and she was judging the competition, and it just happened to be a 17-year-old moving to the valley but the family was moving from Cardiff. So, and I was just perfect for that. I was 17 and I lived in Cardiff, and she just watched me and thought, oh, he's all right. I'll get him in. And then, so I did that. And then about a year into it, Bethan pulled me into her office and sort of said, look, you could stay here. You could do, you earn decent money and you'll have a house and all that stuff. That'll be great. But what do you want to do? Do you want to go on? And obviously I'd thought about it, and I saw, well, I've always thought maybe I'd go to drama school at some point in London, it just sort of felt like the natural, you know, Johan Griffith and Matthew Rhys had gone to RADA, so that was like, oh, you're supposed to go to RADA kind of thing. And so she said, brilliant, okay, I think that's a really good idea. If you need help, because I'd never really acted in English, so it was kind of, do you want to come in and you know, find a speech and come in and I'll listen to it, and I won't direct you, but I'll, you know, help you with the sense and stuff with Shakespeare. And she found this, like, I wanted to do Coriolanus, and she found me an old BBC from the archive, like, series of that, and I watched that, and yeah, so she was incredibly encouraging. And
that's so kind of
yeah,
her.
it's just amazing.
So she would have kept you on her show,
yeah,
but she thought, no, this guy is, there's more.
Yeah, I think so like that, wow. Her belief kind of gave me massive confidence, obviously. So not only did she give me the job in Publicum, but then she kind of fired me in the nicest possible way, and but yeah, and helped me loads, and you know, I'll forever be indebted to her for that. But no, yeah, and then so that from there, I auditioned for drama school, and then got in.
Which ones did you audition for?
Didn't get into RADA.
Neither did I.
Went for RADA and Lambda, the only two.
And Lambda said yes.
And Lambda said yes, but Publicum kindly left it open so that I could have stayed on. Yeah. And I did, in fact, go back for the summer holidays, which was quite a nice little earner when you're in your first year of drama school.
Wow. So what were the students there at Lambda? They're all doing this job and that job.
Yeah.
You were, I'm just popping back into this soap opera in Wales.
But I think it's a weird thing you know, for them it's like, it's some little Welsh language thing.
Yeah.
But obviously it's decent money.
Yeah.
When
it was very, very big in Wales. It's an institution.
Yeah, it was massive, yeah.
When you're playing a role, are you one for research?
Yeah, various levels of how much I feel, but sometimes I'll just rock up and say the words. But I work really hard on the script, and I don't think some people do too much research, and I think you get bogged down in it. It's pointless.
Yeah.
Because there's only so much you can learn, as long as you understand who the person is you're playing.
How good are you on the lines? How you know, bang on the lines are you?
I'm pretty good. I try to be bang on.
You put the time in.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Because that's what it is, isn't it? It's a real investment of.
Yeah. And
you can't rush it. You just got to spend the time.
Yeah, and it's kind of planning as well. So if you've got, you know, with Those About to Die, I had loads and loads of scenes, and some of them are bigger than others. You know, there's 10 episodes, and so I've got to think, right, I've got that massive scene on Tuesday, so I need to start learning that now. But not to overwhelm yourself, so you kind of have to plan a little bit. But that's something you learn from experience, and just to go, right, okay.
I would imagine on Game of Thrones, that gave you a good muscle, you know, doing something that the discipline of that, I would imagine.
Yeah, but funny with that, it wasn't, the commitment wasn't very high, because there were so many different characters and storylines and different scenes. In reality, sometimes you just be there for a day, and then you're going home, and you'll be back in a month to film the next scene. So you'd have one massive scene, which is like 6 pages. But you made such an impact on it, though. Yeah, I mean, that's thank you, but that's kind of. I watched the thing on the way in today. It was not easy when you're driving. It's a joke. I saw Conan O'Brien saying, and you'll remember this, of course, that you were the greatest villain he had ever seen in cinema or television. You remember that? I do, yeah. That's nice. Very kind of him, yeah. I appreciate there's not much you can say to that, but that's pretty big. Yeah. I mean, yeah. And you achieved that on one day a month? No, there was more than that, but sometimes it could be that. Yeah. So you'd have, you know, in an episode, I'd have one big scene. So you'd just be, and then you're like, okay, see you later, guys. Whereas, yeah, so... But obviously, that still has to put the work in. Yeah. How long did you do on Game of Thrones? 4 years. Right. So that would be like 6 months a year. Belfast? Yes. How was that? Great, yeah. It's quite convenient. I didn't get to go to any of the fun places like Croatia to swim in the Adriatic, and everyone's coming back going, oh, so lovely. Have you deliberately turned stuff down that you thought, no, if I do this, then the perception will be this? Yeah. Yeah. And some of that stuff may be quite appealing in many ways. Well, yeah. And potentially would have been very good if, you know, career-wise or whatever. in some ways.
Yes.
But it's more of a sort of creative and personal reason not to want to, because of the impact of Game of Thrones, and Ramsay was so, so vivid in everyone's imagination. To go straight into a character that was like that would be, especially in America, would have been completely mad, because I would have just all of a sudden that's the that's what he does, and I never wanted that, so I had to be just like. But it wasn't a difficult decision.
So what was the first thing you accepted after Game of Thrones?
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember. I did a show called Riviera.
Oh yeah. And what was the character in that?
I mean, he was a bit weird, but I do play weirdos. That's what I do. Or people with. Oh, he's not that weird. He was kind of like a rich young guy.
Yeah.
But
different enough from Ramsay.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem is Ramsay is so evil and psychopathic. You can't really play a character like that. They have been asked to play similar-ish. Just that level of malevolence and just absolutely not caring about anything. But so I've had to those. But this guy, he was quite complicated, and I thought it was interesting. And it would be quite nice to go and film in South France for.
I was about to say, how long did you spend down there?
Oh, it was 6 months. I wouldn't be there the whole time, but
where did they put you up?
In the Meridian in Nice, which was
nice.
Which was nice. Yeah, very nice. Nice view of the Mediterranean there. Pretty cushy. Nice change from Belfast.
There's nothing wrong with it, but what don't you like about Belfast?
Well, you can't jump in the Mediterranean Sea there.
True.
And I had to listen to everyone coming back from bloody
Croatia.
Croatia, yeah, having had a lovely time. And I'm like, yeah.
So how was it on Vicious? Which I mean, that's a show you did with, I love that kind of humour. You got Derek Jacobi and Ian McKellen.
Yeah, and Francis de la Tour.
Yeah. Right. Tell people who, it wasn't a massive hit. Tell people about it. Paint a picture.
Yeah, it's a sort of traditional live studio audience sitcom.
Yeah, what a delight to get to do that.
Oh, what a dream! It was great because I'd done. So it was about this older gay couple who live in Soho, and they're sort of very vicious with each other, and that's where a lot of the humour comes. But they
super camp,
yeah,
super old school,
yeah,
vicious to each other.
Yeah.
I love all that.
It was great. It was so much fun. But I just finished doing my first season of Game of Thrones, and then we were auditioning for this.
That's when that was it in the time scale? Oh, what
between.
fantastic variety that you've done Game of Thrones.
But it hadn't come out yet.
Right.
So Gary Janetti, the writer and sort of showrunner, I met with him. We did the auditions and stuff, and he really wanted me. But then subsequently he said to me, "There's no way I would have cast you in that as that character had I seen Game of Thrones." So that was kind of cool. But then, because I played Ash, who was their upstairs neighbour, who was just kind of a bit like very naive and sort of innocent, which I really enjoy playing that kind of part. So that one I don't find hard to keep a straight face because it's all open and outward. Rather, if you're doing internal, it's harder, I find, because my self is trying. When you're laughing when in school and you shouldn't when you're getting.
And tell me about working with. You talked about Robert Sheehan and different people, right? But they're of your generation. Tell me about working with Derek Jacobi and Ian McKellen and Francis de la Tour.
Yeah, it was. I mean, what?
Who are coming with? Yeah. So first of all, you have a perception of them, but they are coming brim full of experience.
So much. It was amazing because I was this kid basically, and I was the only young person apart from the odd guest that would come in.
Alex Roach, she comes into it.
Yeah, she did it, which was great. But so I was just this sort of kid. The first few days I'm just looking around, going, what is going on? Like, and because we rehearsed it as well, sort of in the week, and then you shoot the episode on the weekend.
That's the best fun. The rehearsal.
Yeah,
the rehearsal
is great, and I'm there with them, and they're telling stories, and and the way that they were together, and they knew each other so well. But just what was amazing for me was like listening how hungry they were to rehearse all the time, and there was this professionalism and this like sort of how courteous they were and polite, and it's they've reached the very, very top, and they still want to keep honing, as they would say, and they were just a wicked laugh.
What did you take away from them?
Well, that I want to be like that when I want to, have when I meet people and people, just be kind to everyone and just be easy to work with, and to just have that absolute hunger to keep improving when, you'd be forgiven for not really caring. Mm-hmm. But, it comes to 5 o'clock and the rehearsal's finished, like, should we do it again? And I'm thinking, sure, man. They don't want to go home. Yeah. They love it. And that's to have that, it's quite a wonderful thing to see. I was blessed. It was, I was the luckiest. I remember at the time feeling I'm the luckiest actor at the moment. Because I get to have this.
Yeah.
And I was chosen for this, and I'm so fortunate because it could have been someone else and I wouldn't have had it. And having it was just a dream.
Whenever I have Welsh actors on here, one name always comes up, and I ask people if they have any stories about them, and it's Welsh actor, went to America, did very, very well. I'm doing Anthony Hopkins. You appear in a thing with him, this new thing on Peacock and Prime Video, Those About to Die. First of all, what is it? And then we'll talk about him.
Yeah, it's a historical drama, really, about Rome.
At the time of the gladiators.
Yeah, so in the year 79. And it's kind of about the gambling and the chariot racing and the gladiator fights, and then about this dynastic struggle at the top. Sir Tony plays the Emperor Vespasian. So just to have him in it, it's just unbelievable. And yeah, so and I play this sort of underworld gangster type geezer.
Do you?
Yeah, who's he's spinning a lot of plates, and he's reached the top of his game, and he's kind of looking up, going, I want to pop at the big jobs. But obviously in that sort of patriarchal society where the patricians, they own everything, and you've got to be born into it. You can't just elevate yourself socially and professionally.
Where did you shoot it?
In Rome.
Ooh.
Yeah, which was
How long were you there for?
7 months, something like that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Where did they put you up?
I had a little apartment in Trastevere, yeah.
Did you?
Which was very nice, yeah.
Did you have a cleaner, or did you do it yourself?
I did have a cleaner, yeah. But a little
How
bit
often?
myself.
Twice a week?
Just once a week.
What day? What day would that be?
It was usually on a Thursday, I think, yeah.
Oh, so it's nice for the weekend, but by Sunday it's starting to...
Yeah, but I mean, I'm quite a tidy person, so I do my...
Are you? Are you?
Obviously, as you go, you got to keep...
You're not there much if you're filming anyway. I mean, what was it like for you, the work schedule? Was that a thing where you're sort of in every day?
I was, yeah. I had...
Oh, so the apartment just stays... It's lovely. Yeah. Once a week is enough, then.
And very rarely do any cooking there because I didn't have time, you know. And what I'd do is I'd get sort of second. My character was called Tenax, so I'd ask for a Tenax 2. The catering was fantastic, so I just asked for another dish from the catering, and put it in a little box and put it in my trailer, and then I'd take that home, and that was my dinner. So I didn't have to worry about that.
You're not in any scenes with Mr. Hopkins.
No,
but you met him.
I met him. Yeah. He's probably the only character in the entire series I don't have a scene with, honestly, which is absolutely
so you're going to be in this thing with Anthony Hopkins, and I mean, listen, Iwan, you're doing scenes with there's only one. Let me see it. Oh, you don't work with Hopkins, but you work with...
It's awful.
That must have been a moment when you realised that.
It was a dark time. Because
it would be, wouldn't it? Because you're thinking...
Anthony Hopkins, yes! This is it. But then, I did ask. So Roland Emmerich, the director, I was like, come on, man.
Roland Emmerich, who did Independence Day and many other things.
Any chance? Like, I sort of asked sort of jokingly, like, any danger? And he said, no. I was like, oh.
So in what circumstances did you meet him?
I met him, I came in, I think it was his last day filming. So they got all his stuff together in one chunk. And I came in. And just sort of, I don't know.
So come on, talk. I want detail. Talk us through it.
I kind of did something really embarrassing. Well, the thing is, everyone was sort of doing fist bump because it was still quite COVID-y and it was quite strict around him for obvious reasons. So I had to have a mask on, which is fine. And everyone was sort of doing a fist bumpy thing. So I went over to go and do a fist bumpy thing, but then he did an open palm and then saw my fist bump, and then he closed his palm into a fist bump, so we only fist bump when it could have been a handshake.
Could have had a shake.
I know, that was pretty devastating. So
Had
that
he
that hit
heard-
me quite hard.
Had he heard that you were Welsh?
Yeah, oh yeah, he knew. Yeah, he was like,
Right.
Carmarthen boy, is it? And I was like, oh, well, but then obviously instead of just going yes, I'm like, well, no, I grew up in Cardiff actually. And then he did a Cardiff accent, and then we spoke for a little bit. But then he was filming. I just popped into the studio.
So was he dressed in his costume when you
Yeah,
met
he
him?
was very much in his white, imperial gown, looking amazing. Yeah, but Tom and Jojo, who play his sons in it, I'm very good friends with them, and we would hang out in Rome. So I lived vicariously through them and listened to their stories. And he was an absolute legend. And he came in, and again, very much like Ian and Derek, he just loves it. He loves doing it, and he's fun, and he likes working hard. And so it's just so cool to hear.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
absolute legend.
Have you seen Those About to Die?
I have, yeah.
What do you think of it?
Well, I think visually it's spectacular. I think,
Yeah.
it's something that probably hasn't been seen on TV in this era, in the way that the Circus Maximus and
You mean the scale of it?
Yeah, the chariot
Well,
races.
yeah, if it's Roland Emmerich, I imagine it's
massive.
pretty ambitious.
He likes a wide lens, so everything's like. But yeah, it looks. I mean, you've never seen ancient Rome like this, I don't think.
And because, of course, this is a global thing, this series. It dropped on Peacock in the States. Over here, it dropped on Prime Video. Also, where you'll find My Lady Jane, which is a wonderful series. Particularly some of the supporting cast. I'm in that. Have you seen it? Have you? What did you think of it?
It was wonderful, darling. Wonderful.
I don't think you have seen it.
I'm going to watch it tonight.
Wow, yeah. It's funny being in this. Well, you're used to it, of course, with Game of Thrones. These things that are global. It's all new to me because I've always done stuff on the BBC, basically, and sometimes it catches on elsewhere. But when I did My Lady Jane, it was a big alteration for me. Just the mindset. Oh, yes, going out all over the world.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Yeah. But, you're not safe anywhere.
But you're used to that through Thrones, as I call it.
Yeah, through
Do you shorten it to Game or do you shorten it to Thrones? You shorten it to
yeah.
Thrones?
Yeah, that was the way it was done. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah. I thought Game would have been better,
But then you'd be on the Game.
But then, maybe confused. Thrones. Yeah, Thrones is what they did.
So you spent 7 months in Rome. No, at this point, you're married and you've got the child.
Oh, I'm not married, but...
What?
Yeah, I know.
Stop. No, I'm not having this. I've said we have a strict moral code on this show. But you have the child.
Yes.
Did the child come to Rome?
That was... I wanted that, but it was difficult.
Because still COVID-y time, you said.
Yeah, well, a little bit, but not... I mean, we were still testing on set. But also in July, in his summer holidays in July in Rome, it's exceedingly busy and it was 40 degrees.
Oh, too hot.
So I was like, am I going to take a 5-year-old?
No.
And also he's going to look at the... I mean, obviously, like, I will take him to Rome one day because I've completely geeked out on the history.
You must know it really well now.
Yeah, I mean, and I really got into the history of ancient Rome, and like, so I kind of am a bit of an insufferable bore walking around the city.
One of the great things about being an actor, isn't it, is that you do get these pockets of knowledge from jobs you've done.
Yeah, I just need to be at the right pub quiz at the right time, and then I go, and the next category, ancient Rome. Like, sit down. I'm going, all right. Yeah. But
Will there be more? Will there be more? Are you optioned to do more?
I'm optioned, yeah. So I'm hoping we...
Is that one of those jobs that you have to agree in theory to 7 years in or something?
Three. But,
3,
yeah,
right.
which is actually quite low.
But that would be no hardship because you had such a good time on it.
Well, exactly. I mean, I'd love to do another one. It was a great character. I liked the idea of the show telling the sort of story, this cross-section of Rome, rather than it being based on, say, the Julii Claudian, like dynasty or whatever. This is like Rome in all its sort of... It opens the door for the audience to see the inner workings of Rome, kind of thing.
Have you been media trained in your promotion of this? Is that a key phrase they want you to get through?
I think I just made that up, actually. But maybe maybe they've done so well with their they've actually, maybe there's people whispering in my ear at night.
That's where you got that earpiece in.
Yeah. There's somebody there telling me.
It shines a light on another side of Rome.
Yeah, and then if it breaks, it'll be like, so tell us about the show. It's about Rome.
When did you rap on it?
Last November.
So what have you done since then?
Not that much acting work. Right. Did some voiceover stuff and did some Dylan Thomas audio. I did a radio play.
Which of the Dylan Thomas did you?
Did a lot of them. So I did a lot of the short stories and the broadcasts. They wanted to, because they'd just come into public domain, so they wanted to do like a revamped version. It had never been recorded. The Christmas and then when they're doing another Under Milk Wood, so I did the first voice for that.
I love the fact that you've done that, because it means they didn't ask Michael Sheen. And I think, and I've had him on here.
I'm sure he's furious.
And I'd say it to his face. Enough with the Dylan Thomas. Give other people like Iwan a look in on the Dylan Thomas.
The thing is, he would have done it so well. So that's a pressure in itself when you're being asked to do it, because you're thinking, oh, Michael Sheen will just come in and nail this. And I've got to, there's a lot of expectation there. But yeah, but then I've made an album, which is cool.
What's the album called?
I don't know yet. I haven't quite named it. I kind of want to call it something stupid. There's some ideas, but it's about to be mixed and mastered.
What sort of stuff is on there? All original.
All original, yeah. Yeah, it's a combination, really. It's there's a lot of songs, because I did one in 2015, and then I haven't done any music since. So it was about time, really. Wow. And so it's kind of. I write them on an acoustic, but then take them to the studio and just sort of see what happens. This one's a bit different to what I've done before. So we've got a bit of a bigger sound. It's quite interesting.
You're very creative, aren't you? You are, and if that's what's coming across. Very creative. Very creative.
Yes.
I met him. I met you, and very creative. He was.
He was doodling. Great. I'm doing a lovely painting down here while we're talking as well. Yes, of you.
A little bit of claymation as well. Do you do impressions?
No.
Come on, Hopkins does impressions. Did he do any on the?
I think he did.
He must have done them to your mates that were playing the Sons.
I think they got a lot. And he loves telling jokes as well. Yeah. They had a great time. Yeah.
And you were that close.
Oh, it's just agonizing. It really is.
If it runs again. Does his character live? Oh, don't say it. No spoilers. We don't want to go there. Let's assume that he does, right?
Yeah.
And if he comes back, you would surely insist they've got to have two Welsh people together.
I would refuse to go back. I would go on strike.
If it were without...
Yeah. Just one scene.
What do we want? Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
When do we want him? In season 2?
Just one 10-page dialogue scene, two-hander with him. That's all I ask.
It's been really nice meeting you.
Yeah, you too, man.
Big fan.
Oh, big fan of yours.
I was just teeing you up to say that. Is there anything else you want to get off your chest?
No, I think I'm all right. I can't think of anything.
Disappointing. The interview is over.